This story happened when I was on duty as a forest ranger in Brunei, Darussalam. Our duties are to guard and patrolling the border between Brunei and Sarawak, Malaysia. When I was on duty, I had an unusual encounter in deep forest. I was assigned to the Tutong district at the time. While on duty, me and 5 of my colleagues, a group that enjoys cracking jokes. There is never a shortage of things to poke fun of or laugh about. As usual, we continue to laugh and make jokes late into the evening. Our camp is located on the creek's edge, where we bathe and get water for cooking. After sunset, my colleagues and I went to bathe in the river. As usual, we joke around and laughed uncontrollably. Suddenly, one of us heard splashing of water not far from our position. My colleague saw something. He turned and called to us and said, "Hey guys, check this out. What is that?" We turned and looked at his point of view, and we were surprised because we saw a figure like an animal that almost resembled an eagle. We looked at each other and asked where the animal came from because we didn't hear anything flying or passing us. And even more surprisingly, at that time the animal started dancing, like normal people. If we explain to people who don't see what we see back then, they might think we watched a lot watching cartoons. But those of us who experienced it cannot forget the experience. And the eagle continued to dance in front of us. After we saw the sudden behavior of the eagle, we laughed as hard as we could. We were also surprised, but we couldn't control the laughter. The strange thing is, every time we see the eagle, we keep laughing non-stop. We were also surprised and horrified because we laughed uncontrollably and almost fainted because of it. Feeling scared and weak, we continued to rush out of the river. In a hurry, I looked back, and in a scary situation, the animal had followed us while dancing. At that time, we are like crazy people and cannot stop laughing. But in our thoughts, the feeling of fear grew stronger. We continued to enter our camp while laughing, while changing our clothes. One of us saw the eagle was in front of our camp and still doing the dance. At that time, we didn't know what to do. One of my friends suspected that the animal was not an ordinary animal, but it was the manifestation of a jinn, a guardian of the forest who came to want us. In that scared and nervous state, we were still thinking about what to do with the jinn. Fortunately, we have an old and experienced colleague. He said, "We all better read the verses of the Al-Quran. If not, we might end up dying laughing." After turn on the radio with recite of the surah verse Nay, the situation become calmed down, and there's no moving outside our tent. Fortunately, a friend of ours brought that radio, and we continued to turn the Al-Quran verses station. In a state of fear, one of my friends braved enough to go outside and see the situation outside the tent. In the dim dark, there was no sign of the jinn, as if it's disappeared into thin air, and there was no sighting outside the camp. After the situation was safe and sound, we rushed out with lanterns to see the situation. As advised from our old colleague, We indeed are very fortunate because according to him, if prolonged and not avoided, we all might die due to excessive laughter.